Welcome back to D-Tech, guys. Today we've got this 2007, I believe, Mercedes S500 or 550. And basically we are going to go through a procedure of what you need to do when installing a used transmission. Now I know this is a subject that's probably covered all over YouTube and all over online. You can find plenty of ways to do it. Now the reason why I want to present the video on it is because I've got two pieces of equipment that aren't really used or shown on doing the procedure, and so I want to go ahead, try them out, see if they can get the job done, and bring you guys along. And so the reason why this is here, it was actually told over today by another shop that was referred to me. And so model year is 07, ends in 9057. And just to get you shot, here is the trouble codes and diagnostic report from earlier. So 9057, 07 Mercedes. And the trouble codes that we are getting, or that put it in a non-drivable starting state, are going to be these guys here. So drive authorization missing or invalid. And then the selector range sensor not learned. Those are the ones that we are getting currently. And not the whole transmission was installed or replaced. Looks like just the conductor plate, or TCU, mechatronics, whatever you want to call it, refer to, was replaced. And I don't even think it was a used one. It was probably one that is presented online from one of these places you can buy units from as a possible reman one. So I don't know what kind of information those carry when they're presented that way and sold that way. So we're about to find out, but we're going to try to get this going. But as I said, I want to try and see if we can get it done a different way. All right, guys. So one of the things that I'm going to do is basically I'm going to check my work with my tooling. So let's basically call a control. I'm going to save some data with the tool that I've used in the past, which is the Autel, with the EMO portion. And this conductor plate here is the original one, the one that was removed from the transmission. It was sent over with the vehicle, and so I want to just make some connections, pull the data, store it here for now, and I'm just double checking my connections and seeing if we can communicate and everything by doing this at the same time. And then we will move on to the TCU conductor plate that's installed, and we'll do our work on the car with the new tools. Okay, so let's see if we can even read some data here. All right, perfect. We are in. So there is our VIN number 9057, and then the thing that makes this to the point where you can't use used components is these two portions down here, personalized and activated. When they're listed as yes, means they're, let's call it, locked out, and they can't be simply swapped over. That is basically, I'm assuming, the status that one is currently in, and which is why we are not able to continue forward. So that's what we want to change. And so now we know, let's see, if I want, yes, I want to save it. There we go. And so now I've got all that, the EMO information, the VIN number, all the pertinent information that we need in case anything goes awry. And we know our connections, this homemade harness and everything is working properly. All right, guys. So next we got our connections made, which basically, this is always the fun part on these Mercedes. Once they install the transmission, we've got to get the vehicle up and then install the pins. Having a homemade harness does make a world of difference. Makes the connection a whole lot easier. Now, as I said, I'm going to use some other tooling that I have not used before, but because, again, I don't want anything to go awry since I'm kind of learning with the different tools, I am going to just make some connections with the Autel, save that data, and kind of, again, create a control, a baseline control in case anything goes awry. This is a first-time customer, so I don't want anything going south when I told them that yes, I can get the job done. So we're going to just do the same thing. I am connected. I've got the rag there because I want the pins separated. I don't want them touching and causing no communication or shorting out. So let's just go ahead and do the same thing. Might want to turn on the adapter. So let's see. Don't forget that. Let's see. All right, so let me just screenshot that. As we expected, all of these are listed as yes. So it's not been wiped out or cleared. It definitely has come out of a different vehicle. And so that is the whole reason why it's not working. And again, just the million videos on YouTube and so on and so forth. When you install a used one, it cannot work until this gets wiped out. So I'm going to save it just in case. So this is the donor. We don't really need to do anything with it, but we have it. At this point, with the Autel IM608 or 508, all you would have to do is then go into renew the TCU, which basically wipes it out or virginizes those columns that need to be cleared out in order to accept new information. And so, again, done this before with this tool. I know it works. So I want to present this as if you did not have access or capabilities to do it with an Autel IM series. And that's why I got some curiosity on wanting to try it with different tools. Worst case scenario, I can always use this one. Alright, so the first tool that I want to go ahead and try and see if I can make something happen is the OBDSTAR. The reason why I want to try to use it is because it supposedly is going to have the ability to virginize the TCU. Let's go ahead. So I know, well, supposedly this mechatronic or TCU or conductor plate is a VGS2 NAG2. And the reason why I say that is because this original one that was removed was supposedly that. Well, we know this one came out of because of VIN number. So there we go. There's our identification. And so that is why I am selecting that on this OBDSTAR, because we supposedly have abilities to do it. So we'll go there. We'll hit start using this adapter. And that is where I saw this option, right there where it says renew. Now, it looks like it can't pull information or write information, but it can supposedly wipe it out. Now, we've got ways of verifying stuff, so that is why I want to try it. First, we'll hit connect. And of course, there's an update. Alright, so after that update, looks like we were able to actually get into the conductor plate, and if you look there, we did pull a VIN number. So it is communicating. That's a good sign. So let's go ahead and go with the only option that they give us. One thing to note, I usually do or use this tool or a lot of the bench tools on my bench in the office where I have an actual power supply unit. Right now I'm using just an adapter for the tool because usually I like to see that a little bit higher. So hopefully that doesn't give us any issues. But let's go ahead with this. And of course, let's see, fault, no response from ECU. That's odd because we were able to communicate. Let's try again. Alright, same thing. Yes. Alright. So no go. Alright guys, so out of curiosity and forcefully, I went ahead and got my power supply. I've got it running. We, oddly enough, are not showing higher there, but let's go ahead. Wow. Did you see that? We now have all of that information, a whole lot more than we did with the original one right here. Now, one thing that just crossed my mind, or started to cross my mind, is this has the 120 ohm resistor on it. Those two guys, I think, do not. Now, before I continue, I think I want to at least hook one of these back up, add 120 ohm resistor, see if we get this information, because we clearly see we can pull a whole lot more info than we initially did. So that's interesting. Alright, so let's disconnect. Yes. Switch ignition off. Okay, so disconnected. Let's back out. And I'm going to switch to one of these and add the resistor, see if we pull that same info. Alright, so there is my resistor. I chose to go with the 003 because that one gave us totally nothing. So I think it's going to be the best one to test to see if the resistors do help. Actually, let's back out and make sure we get some voltage going before we start. Let's hit that. This is 003 adapter. Hit OK. Let's see if we can communicate now. Alright, so half communication, let's call it. As we can see, we only pulled VIN number, but no key information. So I bet if we hit the renew, we'll get the same errors that we were getting with that guy there, the MP01. The MP001. So in case it does work, I don't want to try it. I want to connect that guy, knowing we've got resistors, just to see if we still end up the same way. If we do, I'm going to continue with this one here and see if we can Virginize it. So let's disconnect. Alright, go there. Alright, we switched. Let's turn on the power. Again, let's see if that makes a difference with this interface. So, hope you guys know I'm doing this all, kind of trial error, R&D, not wasting, but spending a lot of time to bring this content to you guys, to help you guys out there in case you're limited on tooling or you only have certain tooling, so on and so forth. So, I could have been done a long time ago. But again, I'm curious also to see if I'm ever in the jam with a tool that doesn't do a job. I want to know if I've got access with my other tooling in-house. Alright, so it's made no difference. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect, put this guy back on, and continue on with the wiping out of the TCU. Alright, so let's go for a final time. Hopefully we can get moving along. We'll hit start, change our adapter, and I've removed the 120 ohm resistor. Is it okay? Put the power on. And let's go. And it grabs it quick, that's crazy. And so, okay, there's that info also. I didn't notice that earlier. So the personalized and activated is listed as yes, yes. So that's good, because if this works and we reread it and it pulls all the same info, we want to see that change. And if it does, then we know that it successfully virginized the TCU. So here goes nothing. Switch off. Hit OK. Switch on. So it's just cycling through. Make sure you do power it up. Looks like it is. Oh man. So no go. All of that to get a teaser, act like we might be able to do something, and still nothing. OBDSTAR, again, every so often, it'll list capabilities of doing something, and it just cannot complete. Now, I'll try to get with support, but for now, for me to get this job done, I'm going to have to go with the tried and true for the moment, which is going to be the Autel. Now, quickly, just off camera, out of frustration, I didn't cycle anything. I hit renew, whatever, and it had me cycle it. It went through, still did not complete it, but I got a different response. So this was the one that we just saw. Communication, no response from ECU. This one, I did the key cycling, communicating, resetting reset version failed, and then it brought up those categories again. Different response, different end result. Like it attempted, but it couldn't do it. This one, it couldn't even attempt it because it couldn't even communicate. Again, without cycling, let's try one more time. I'm sure it won't go through. It's just a little frustrating, but who knows. So again, looks like it sort of communicated, but it was not able to virginize it. So again, we'll just go ahead and stop with this guy. We're obviously getting nowhere with it. And we'll hook up the Autel. Alright, back to the original setup. Let's power this guy up. So at this point, it's going to be nothing crazy. Straightforward. Let's reread it, make sure nothing crazy happened. Okay, so everything still pulls up. Nothing different there. Let's see. I'll hit no. Let's renew. Alright, so with that, it's still saying yes, but I'm not sure if that's where we recheck it. Let's say Yes. All right, so that procedure is when it performed the renewing. So let's see, do you want to read? Yes. There we go. So again, this tried and true Autel with this procedure was able to complete the job that it stated it can do, and so it switched those to no and no. And so now this TCU or conductor plate is wiped out as far as that goes. Now we can continue to try to write the data onto it. Let's try and do this. All right, let's see if it works. All right, supposedly it wrote the VIN. Sometimes on the Mercedes it has a hard time. Let's go ahead and write TCU data. And so the one from the original vehicle is going to be this one because it's got the VIN on it, and then the date, and it was the first one that I read, so time wise. So let's go ahead and pick this one. So it should now start to write it. All right, successful. Now let's go ahead and read just to verify. And all right, so there is our VIN. It's switched. We've got personalized as yes. Activated, we still have to perform, which we can do with the tool, but now we will be able to continue, and that is the procedure, just like all the other ones on YouTube that use the Autel. Nothing more really to show, other than maybe I'll get it a shot of it driving, but another failed attempt, not what I was going for with the OBDSTAR. I'll definitely contact them and let them know what happened. Maybe they can get it rectified, who knows, but that's it. Just versionizing Mercedes transcomputer and writing it so that it works whenever using a used unit.